So today I would like to share with you my experience in building startup company in Long Island. So let me start briefly with outline of my talk. So at first I'll talk a little bit about graphene and why it's exciting material and why we are doing what we are doing. Later on I will share stories how I went from being a scientist to a business person. And after that, I'll talk a little bit about Long Island and how Long Island makes a really unique place for people who are interested in building high-tech companies. And I will show you how our company strongly benefited from being here on Long Island. And also, I will talk about a few projects which we are doing here in CFN, so you can get some kind of flavor of activities you might be involved in if you become CFN user. So here is a brief outline of history of our company. So actually I started using CFN when I was a postdoctoral fellow at Columbia University. So I was one of the first users of CFN, and I started using it I think early in 2008. So after that I decided to start a company, so I quit my job in academia, and my husband and I founded a company in 2009. So also we got very lucky because we started doing graphene, and as most of you know that Gaimet Novoselov got Nobel Prize for graphene materials in 2010. So we ended up being in a very good place and very right time. And our company, at first we started, actually we didn't start in garage as we were supposed to start. We started in a spare bedroom of our apartment. So for the first year we were running out of home, and when the time came to hire people and build our own production facility, so Anil was kind enough to give us a home. So right now we moved into Stony Brook Business Incubator in Calverton, and Calverton is not far away from here. It's next to two airplanes, exit 71, close to Riverhead. And we moved to Stony Brook Incubator approximately 2 years ago, and right now we have 5 rooms in incubator, our own production facility, our own quality control equipment, and now we have 8 people. We also have interns from Stony Brook University, so people come and go, and we hired more people, we expanded our facility, and we are continuing to grow. So over here you can see our building. So we occupy maybe about 20 to 25% of all area in this business incubator. And if you're ever interested in starting a business and you need a space for your business, so business incubator is an incredible opportunity to start your own business with relatively low capital, and it's really friendly towards the high-tech startup companies. So most of you probably know what graphene is, so I will be really quick. So graphene is a two-dimensional form of carbon. It's a single atomic layer of carbon atoms arranged in hexagonal lattice, as you can see here, and it's known for its miracle properties. And here I'm talking, probably most of the people here have PhDs, so it took approximately 1 year to learn how to talk about the difficult things in very simple language. So next slide is more science-oriented. So graphene is known for extremely high electromobility and also extremely high specific surface area, so you can make material which is almost only surface. It has a high mechanical strength and incredible thermal conductivity. And as of right now, this material can be produced on not on industrial scale, but at least on pilot scale. It can be produced by many methods. So Gaimet Novoselov started making it by a famous Scotch tape method. This method, of course, is not scalable for commercial use, and right now it's possible to grow graphene by chemical vapor deposition, so we can grow graphene sheets as large as our reactors, so probably this size, and you can grow larger reactor if you need larger sheets. Also, graphene can be produced by oxidation and reduction. Also, soluble material, which is called graphene oxide, can be produced. Also, louder? Can you hear me okay? Okay, so graphene oxide is a material which can be produced in quantities by chemical synthesis, and also graphite, so-called graphene nanoplatelets can be produced by chemical splitting of graphite. So right now we are very close so right now, not only us, but industry in this particular segment is very close to full-scale production, so most of materials are produced in small quantities in kilograms or maybe in 100 kilogram scale. But scale up is on its way, and we expect to see a lot of applications of graphene materials in the near future. So again, graphene is incredible business opportunity. A lot of people are investing money in academia, in graphene research, and right now it's crazy activity in the business sector as well. Because, when you start doing something in real life, usually there is delay between advances in academic research and advances in business. And right now, graphene is a very exciting place to be in business because, like all this craziness and gold rush in academia started about 8 years ago. And right now, all this excitement about this material is moving from academic lab into real life products. So what do we do? So our company operates a website which is called Graphene Supermarket. And when I started my graphene research at Columbia University, I faced the problem that I had a lot of exciting projects in mind, but most of materials were not available. And if you want to synthesize it, it can take you the whole year before you can get first results. So we built a business which helps scientists which don't want to make their own materials, so they can just go online and buy any graphene material you have in mind. So our graphene supermarket right now is the world's largest supplier of graphene materials. We have about 5,000 customers in virtually any country I can think of, and I think that we established a very good relationship with many customers around the globe. And many people are happy and using our materials, and I think it's more than 1,000 papers have been published as of right now with people who used our materials. And right now I want to switch gears and I want to talk about our collaboration with Brookhaven National Lab. So during our first proposal cycle, we were focusing on optimization of quality of CVD graphene, and we were able to make graphene transistors out of our graphene materials. Later on, we also use the same materials to make solar cells based on our graphene coatings. And over here, I want to stop and just talk a little bit more about our current projects. So, if you remember from Emilia's lecture, so right over there is a huge ring, which is called RIG. And it's like a heart of Brookhaven National Lab. And it's funny that they also know about graphene. And why do they need graphene? So RIG is a huge machine, and it's the world's only machine which is capable of colliding high-energy beams of polarized protons. And in order to detect protons, they use a carbon target. And they've been using a carbon target made by sputtering for a very long time. And they have serious problems because as far as it's not high crystalline material, so this material breaks, it has very limited lifetime, and basically if they're in the middle of the run and they have to replace target, it ruins a month or few months of the work. So they wanted to replace this amorphous carbon target they're using right now with graphene, and actually in this case we didn't find those collaborators through our network in Brookhaven National Lab. They found just our website, and they were very surprised to figure out that it's only like a few miles away from them. So right now we have an open proposal to make a target. So we made a few targets. Right now we are not using them for real run, because right now we are just testing them if they're going to survive. But if everything goes well, so those targets made at CFN are going to be used in the next full-blown RIG run. So that's one proposal we're working on. And our second proposal, which is open, and it involves collaboration with Stony Brook University. So we are working with SensorCAD. It's a center within Stony Brook, which is devoted to development of novel sensors. And we met with Professor Samuilov, who was working with carbon nanotube-based sensors. And he was very excited to learn about our new material, which is called three-dimensional graphene foam. In this case, it's interconnected network of graphene, which can be made on macroscopic scale. So in this case, we have sensors which are already made, so it's still a little bit ugly, not ready for commercial use, but we developed together a sensor for icing. Why do people need icing sensors? Just because, for example, probably you know the story about Buffalo and how people got killed because, for airplanes it's a huge problem because ice really interferes with everything. So in this case, it's extremely important to sense ice formation as soon as possible. So in this case, we were able to incorporate our three-dimensional graphene form in a sensor which can feel ice formation, and also it can feel when ice is being melted. So we get results, and right now we are working on publication. So we got a very good media coverage, local as well as global. So our company has been featured in Bloomberg, BBC, other Nano Times, and many other premium resources. And also we are part of a clean energy business incubator, also sponsored by Stony Brook CBIP. So if you are interested in clean energy segment, also please talk to David. It's a really exciting community, and some people also here who are part of this network. So please join, and I think that it's really nice to collaborate with people locally. So there is an entrepreneurial community here in Long Island, and we encourage people from academic part to also to talk to people in business. And what we are doing right now, to conclude my talk, so apparently it has been realized that graphene is not the only exciting two-dimensional material, as well as I think a lot of people in Brookhaven also started to work here on boron nitride and other two-dimensional materials. And so we have a lot of requests from our customers to grow our products beyond graphene. So actually this month we decided to do rebranding, because company is called Graphene Laboratories, and we're doing a lot of non-graphene work right now. So we're launching a new website, and our goal is to expand our product line and continue offering various kinds of nanomaterials to scientists, so you can do your research more effectively. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Elena. We have time for one or two questions from the audience.
I have a little one.
Sure.
So what facilities are you using at the CFM and why?
Right now we are using clean room because we are doing optical lithography to make target. And also we are using scanning electron microscopy because we have to characterize samples. And we use almost everything in clean room. We do wet chemistry, we use profilometry, for example, to analyze profile of those stripes. Raman to characterize. We have our own Raman, so we bought it, but we used Raman a lot when we just started. I think we used almost all facilities available in CFN.
The other question is, what method do you use for preparing graphene? CVD?
We have CVD furnace, but also we make a lot of solutions. So we offer virtually any material you can think of. So we do wet chemistry, not here, I mean in our own facility. But CVD is the main method, of course, to produce graphene coatings, graphene wafers, and so on.
Any other questions? If not, let's thank Elena again.